Traffic was heavy that afternoon. The air shimmered with heat rising from the asphalt, and the hum of engines built a kind of restless music. Drivers drummed on steering wheels, glancing at clocks, muttering about being late. Then out of nowhere the sound changed. A deep, rumbling thunder rolled over the highway. Motorcycles. A whole line of them. Within seconds cars slowed to a stop. A group of bikers pulled across both lanes, tires screeching slightly as they positioned themselves in a rough semicircle. Helmets gleamed, leather vests flashed patches, exhaust pipes hissed in the sun. Nobody knew why they'd stopped. At first, people thought it was an accident. But as the seconds dragged on, irritation boiled. "What's wrong with these people?" one driver shouted. "They're blocking everyone," yelled another. Phones came out. Cameras clicked. A live stream began. The comments scrolled fast. Typical bikers. These guys think they're above the law. Every stereotype filled the air like smoke. In the middle of that growing chaos, one man, the lead rider, older, gray in his beard, lifted his hand. The other bikers stayed motionless. Engines idled. The crowd only got louder. Someone honked their horn again and again until the sound felt like a heartbeat pounding through the heat. Behind the wall of motorcycles sat a small silver sedan. Its tinted windows hid everything inside. Every few seconds the lead biker glanced toward it, frowning beneath his visor. Then he pointed and one of his men nodded and stepped off his bike. To the angry onlookers, it looked like trouble was about to start. The man approached the car, tapped on the window, said something no one could hear. No response. He tapped again, harder. Still nothing. A driver shouted, "He's trying to break in." Another voice echoed, "Call the cops." And within moments everyone had their phones out, filming, complaining, assuming. The biker looked back at his leader and shook his head. The leader gave a short, sharp gesture. Another rider joined him. They moved to the rear door. One tried the handle, it was locked. He hit the window with his gloved fist once, twice. Then came a faint sound. Small. Fragile. A cry. At first, nobody but the bikers seemed to hear it. But the older man froze. He tore off his helmet and pressed his ear to the window. His voice cracked through the noise. "There's a kid in there." The entire mood shifted. Before anyone could react, the biker swung his helmet again. Glass shattered. The sound ripped through the heat and dust. The man reached inside, unlocked the door and pulled out a little girl, her face streaked with tears, wrists tied with a cloth. She gasped for air and clung to his jacket, shaking. Shock silenced the highway. The driver of the sedan, a man in a cap, jumped out, shouting, "Hey! You can't do that!" He barely got 2 steps before 2 bikers grabbed him, pinning him to the ground. Another yelled for someone to call 911 again, this time not in anger but urgency. That's when people finally started to understand. The older biker, his name was Mason, spoke quietly to the child. "You're safe now, sweetheart. You're safe." She couldn't stop crying. She pointed toward the man on the ground and whimpered one word, "Bad." Mason's jaw tightened. "We know," he said. Police sirens echoed in the distance. But the story didn't start there. Earlier that day, Mason's riding club, the Iron Guardians, had received an alert from a nearby town. A child missing, possibly abducted in a silver sedan, plate partially recorded. They'd been on a charity ride for veterans when one of their spotters radioed that same car speeding down the highway. They could have ignored it, but that wasn't who they were. So they formed up, chasing quietly until they had it boxed in. The driver must have noticed and tried to shake them, weaving between cars, but the Guardians stayed close. When the sedan hit heavier traffic, they saw their chance and blocked the road. Now, with the police finally arriving, everything became clear. Officers took the suspect away in cuffs. The little girl was wrapped in a blanket from one of the bikers' saddlebags. Her mother arrived minutes later, running through traffic, collapsing as she hugged her child. Mason stepped back, letting them have their moment. He took off his gloves, wiping sweat from his face. The officers thanked them, but the bikers waved it off. "Just doing what anyone should," Mason said quietly. The drivers who'd yelled earlier now stood awkwardly, guilt written across their faces. One man, the delivery driver who'd argued first, approached Mason. "Hey, I'm sorry," he said. "I thought you were." Mason smiled faintly. "Most people do," he replied, then walked away. The Iron Guardians didn't wait for recognition. They started their engines, the roar filling the air again, but this time it didn't sound angry. It sounded like relief. One by one they rolled away, leaving the highway empty and strangely calm. Later that night, footage from the scene exploded online. Millions watched the videos people had posted earlier. first showing a gang blocking traffic, then the moment everything changed. Hashtags praising the bikers trended worldwide. Comments poured in from parents, veterans and strangers, real heroes. I misjudged them. Never thought I'd cry over bikers. But Mason never read any of it. He didn't have social media. He spent that evening in his garage polishing his bike, quiet, thoughtful. Another day, another ride. He and his crew weren't interested in fame. They were interested in being ready the next time someone needed help. And that, in a world quick to judge and slow to understand, was rare. Weeks passed. A local news station finally aired the full story, the mother's interview, the police statement, the Iron Guardians' community work. The same people who had cursed them on the highway now called them saviors. But Mason kept his words simple when a reporter found him. We didn't do it to be heroes. We did it because a little girl needed us and we were there. That line echoed everywhere. It's easy to look at someone and decide who they are. Easier still to believe the loudest voices instead of the quiet truth. But on that day when the engines fell silent and a child was safe, the world was reminded that goodness doesn't wear a uniform. Sometimes it rides on two wheels. Heroes don't always wear suits. Sometimes they wear leather. Sometimes they smell of gasoline and freedom, and their kindness speaks louder than 1,000 words. If this story touched you, take a moment right now, hit that like button to let others know kindness still exists. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder that heroes come in every form. And if you believe in stories that celebrate compassion, justice, and second chances, subscribe to this channel so you won't miss the next one. Because somewhere out there, another act of quiet heroism is already unfolding, and we'll be here to tell that story.